What is up, the Steem blockchain? So today I want to talk about the idea of nobody cares, right? And I've seen some, I like to stay open-minded, I read what happens on the Steem blockchain, and I like to take different topics and explore them more in depth. So let's explore this idea of nobody cares. And so I've seen a lot of discussions on the Steem blockchain that nobody cares about stuff that is being produced, nobody is watching it, and I've seen conversations like that. So I want to make a response on how I view at things. Okay, so first I want to say is, if we're going to go the logic direction, if you're going to go the logic direction of saying nobody cares, first we have to dissect that. Okay, so what does that even mean? If we're gonna go with 100% logic, that means nobody cares, not a single human care. So that statement is already logically inaccurate. Like if you look at it, if you're gonna go the logic direction, it's already inaccurate. It's impossible because there's always one person that cares, at least, right? What a person can say is few people care. That would be accurate. But making these hard logic statements of nobody cares, it's logically inaccurate. But let's explore this idea. So let's explore it. So there's a lot of things to go over here. I hope I can cover most of it in a video. But the first thing I want to say is that with these new networks, they work a bit in a different way. So first I want to say that we're changing the way people are consuming content. So the old system was that, okay, you create a piece of content, for example, a YouTube video, or you create a piece of Facebook post or blog post, you create this piece of content, and then people get flooded to that place instantly or the same day. Now we're changing the system. So we are doing a system. So that system wasn't that energy efficient. If I, for example, got 100,000 views on a YouTube video, I didn't really make that much money from it. Perhaps $50 or $100 from 100,000 people. That's so much energy. So it wasn't really that energy efficient, those old systems. So it's like this, like when a piece of content gets created, do we really need thousands of people flock there instantly? We actually don't need that. Those humans probably, they could probably do something more productive. Okay, so we're changing the systems. We are making systems that are so efficient that when a piece of content gets created, it might not even get a single viewer, or maybe one viewer or a few viewers, but it's targeted traffic, it's niche viewers. It is an energy efficient system, so people that discover something, they really want to watch that right now. So we are making these systems that are more energy efficient. So we're going from a system where the masses, we had the system where you create something and all the masses come there and you make a little bit of money. This new system, how it works is a piece of content gets created. It might not have a single viewer for a very, very long time, but once a person comes and views that piece of content, and if they have staked themselves, they will have massive leverage, and that one viewer will have as much value as perhaps 100,000 people on those old networks. The old networks relied massively on human energy. In this new system, we are leveraging code. So it basically means that one click from a specific source is more leverage than, let's say, 100,000 people from another place. So when we are transitioning to this new system, it means that people are not going to rely as much on people just flocking to a piece of content. So the way people are consuming content is going to change. It's going to be more optimized. it's not going to rely on the massive human energy. It's going to be relied on code, machine learning, different algorithms, all this that's going to optimize the systems where as a piece of content gets produced, it only gets niche people that comes and consume that piece of content. So it is totally a shift in how the whole system works. The old system relied massively on human energy. The new system doesn't really rely that much on human energy. Humans are not needed as much in the new systems. So if we try to compare the blockchain systems that they have less users and think that they need just as many users as these older platforms to succeed, then that is not really accurate, because these new systems relies on leverage that comes from code, that comes from tokens, and it basically means that each user is way more empowered, but the network itself, the total network, might be smaller compared to a massive centralized network, let's say. But even though the network is smaller, just because people have real leverage, people have tokens, people have access to something, that means that they can grow. They can expand their influence, let's say. So if a person just looks at it as if we need just as many people as those older systems, then that is basically wrong. So this is very important to know, basically, that we're making systems that people Steem in a way, and these graphene blockchains, it's almost as an early version of universal basic income, where people can go out and promote themselves, they can go out and empower themselves, which means that even if we would go with this 100% logic way of nobody cares, it doesn't really matter even that, because a person can still empower themselves. They can send a promotion service and make a little bit of return on investment, so they can do that. So they're not even relied on humans, they're not even relied on curators. They can run a whole ecosystem without having to be dependent on humans, basically. So yeah, that is basically the main point. That we're gonna have optimized traffic, right? And even if nobody, so to say, cares, a person, many people just enjoy engaging in life. They enjoy making a piece of content. They enjoy sharing. And, even if it's just for themselves, at least they're doing something that is enjoyable. But I already proven that it's logically incorrect to say nobody cares, because there's always someone that cares. I haven't said a single person that they should upvote me. Some people put me on auto even. They auto upvote me. So logically, I mean, that just shows that people care. Like, it's impossible to not care. We humans have to care about something. It's like, it's hardwired into us to care about other things, because it helps our survival. If a person tries to not care about anything, I mean, it just doesn't work, right? So Mark Manson had a great blog post, and I think a book about it, that a person has to give a fuck about something. Like, it's impossible to not care about something, because we spend our time doing something in this world, and it needs to be something, right? It needs to be something. And we should also remember that these are new systems, and it's only been out for 2 years, and it takes a long time to basically see the results, basically. Like, to empower people with tokens, to do all this, to nurture people, let's take parents as an example. When they are parents to their children, it takes like 18 years to nurture those people, to empower them, basically. And this token system is the same thing. It's going to take decades to empower people, because we're also moving from a scarcity-based system to an abundance system. So it's going to take decades to actually see the fruits of all this work. All this work that people are doing right now, you're going to see the result decades later. So it's going to be a very, very slow process. And I see that everyone is trying to do their best. Everyone is trying to do what they seem is right, and to empower people, and basically to give love to people. And like, we humans are very loving and caring, and it takes a very, very long time. It's a slow process to empower people. It takes a very, very, very long time. And when if we just look at it from the short-term perspective, then it looks like we're not making any progress at all, right? But if you take a look at the last 10 years, first we got Bitcoin, and then we got 2 years ago, we got these graphene blockchain-based systems, so people can sort of print their own value. And the next year, 2019, we're going to get the smart media token system, so people can create their own tokens. And soon, a few years after that, we're probably going to make it easier for people to create these blockchains. So we are making exponential progress. When you really look at the graph, go back 100 years, I mean, we're gods compared to just 100 or 200 years ago. Smartphones, laptops, computers, we're making some serious gains. And this would, if nobody really cared, we would never have all this empowerment in technology, in home food delivery, and all of this. So yeah, it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time, this whole system. Everyone is playing their role. But I see most conversations, and I see that everyone is trying to do their best, right? Everyone is trying to do their best. Everyone is trying to move the system towards a better future, because humans are kind, humans are loving, we shouldn't underestimate what is in the human heart, what humans really want. Yeah, just exploring this topic here. The main key thing again is that we're building an early version of a universal basic income system. So people will be able to produce, people will be able to pay out their own salary. Like, that's genius. A person can do their work, pay out their own salary, and you don't have to rely on humans or curators. You can have this ecosystem that runs by itself, and everyone can create exactly the piece of content that they want to do, and everyone is good, right? Everyone can have their own custom interfaces, read and consume the pieces of content that they want to consume. And even though it sounds extremely utopian, we can watch this system unfold in front of our eyes. I mean, if you go out on the street, you look at everyone, or many people have cars, many people live nicely. We can already see that the abundance is already here. Now we're just creating the same thing, but in the digital world, basically. So with these computers, with these phones, we're going to have an abundance of content being created. People can create their own custom interfaces. People can decide exactly what it is they want to consume, right? So yeah, you just exploring this topic a little bit. It's actually a big topic. It's a big topic to go over. There is a lot of nuances that you might miss. But I'm not worried about the future, because I know the power of the human heart. I know that what people really want. I know that when I do a piece of content that people ought to upvote it, and I have never even told them to upvote it, right? So I know that humans are loving. Like, the proof is out there. Like, I can see that when I do something, that I get love in return. I can see that if I give a lot, if I give a lot of love, if I share a lot, I get a lot in return. Like, the more I share with other people, the more love I get in return. And that is what I see. I mean, that's how nature seems to be working. That the more you give, the more you give, the more you give, the more you get in return, right? So everything is in communication with everything else in this existence. Every single molecule, everything is like communicating. So it's sort of impossible to not care, because in many ways you are everywhere, right? Your body is not everywhere, but consciousness. There's not like, you can't point and say, okay, this is consciousness, but you can point to a place and, okay, this is my body, right? Might sound a bit confusing, but yeah, a quick quick video here going over this a little bit. I may do more videos about this. I enjoy talking. I enjoy, like, I mean, I can even say this myself, like, even if nobody would watch this video, I enjoyed making it. Like, this is super enjoyable for me. It's so engaging. It's so fun. It's so fun to make a piece of content. It's so fun to give. Even if there's no one that want to receive it, I'm still having fun. Like, I find it super, super enjoyable to make something new, to create something new, something that was never there before, right? So when I'm making a video, this was something that didn't exist. Now it exists, right? So it's kind of like being a god, right? I create something, and then I just give it out, and maybe something can happen, right? Maybe something can happen. Maybe someone comes and comments. Maybe someone doesn't. Does it really matter? No, because in the end, it's so fun for me. It's so fun for me to create stuff. It is, I feel that I'm connected to a limitless source, right? I can do whatever I want. I can create more and more and more, and there's no limit. There's no limit. There's no limit to love. There's no limit to creation. You can always create more. And just being in a sharing state, I feel that it can make people feel more present. It can make people feel have more appreciation, have more gratitude, and it can make people come into the same mode that they also might want to create something. And maybe no one's going to consume it, right? But it's all good, because in the end, and of course people are going to consume it, every single piece of content that was like amazing, people usually comes in and consumes it. And we should also remember that there's a big amount of people, passive consumers. There's a big amount of people that doesn't even have an account, have a Steam account, or have a YouTube account. The majority is just passive. You don't even know these people exist, but they do. Like, a lot of people that browse on the internet, they're just passively taking in something without making an active vote or an active comment. So those people are also just like they're looking for something. They want to consume something. They want to experiment with something. They want to get some passion or whatever. So yeah, quickly a video talking a little bit here. Hopefully enjoyed, and have an awesome day. Steve Blockchain. Bye bye.